Ryan Shirley, NAI Horizon, commercial real estate here in Tucson, Arizona. Today's a little different. I wanted to, this is more of a like an educational one because I'm getting a lot of questions about development. And so I wanted to walk you through sort of how something goes from dirt to, the example I keep using is the Angie's Lobster. I think as people in the community, I think that before I was a broker, used to think that a lot of the stuff that came into our communities, whether it be businesses, were brought via the politicians or the city or something like that. And to be fair, they are involved in the process, but not as integral, they're not like I think a lot of people would think they are. So as an example, I like Marana because Marana is going to be a space. There's a lot of dirt available. We all know that it will be built up over time, but what does that actually look like? The population dynamics out there actually are wonderful. A lot of young families and a lot of homes being built out there. Marana Main Street is a listing that we have over at NAI Horizon, so I'll use that as an example. It's a nice triangular piece of dirt right there in front of the aquatic center. And a lot of folks are probably wondering, how come that dirt just stays dirt? Well, there's a lot of people who have influence on that, on that dirt being converted to whatever retail space, whatever developer has in mind for it. So mind you, this is the part of the problem is that you see the dirt and everyone has a different idea of what that dirt should actually be. We call that highest and best use in the industry. And really, it really depends on how you perceive and like what's important to you. Back to Angie's List, let's say Angie's List is important to you. So say Angie's List has no idea this dirt exists, and the owner of the dirt has no connection to Angie's List, but then you have people like myself who see this opportunity. We're listening to the marketplace, and the market's saying, we wish there was Angie's List, and this is information that we gather literally while we're just having coffees or while we're at our kids' sporting events. We're just, being a part of the community, we're starting to catch information about what is the community actually asking for. So then I'm like hearing, okay, Angie's List, Marana Main Street, how do I put all this together? So now I have to put a development package together now I'm gonna try to sell this idea to a prospective developer. So what I have to do on my side is actually put a development plan together. So now I'm talking to the city, and the city might say, we don't even want an Angie's here, we're not even gonna move this needle forward. So now it's back to the drawing board again. Or they're like, you know what, we like the idea, let's go ahead and work together so I can get so now this is where the real work starts to happen, because to put in something like that, we have ingress, we have egress, we have parking, we have just a lot goes into that, sewage, water, of course, electricity. So how does all this come together? So these are your planning and development plans that have to be done and these are expensive, mind you. So we're already spending money and nothing, and there's never been a shovel put in the ground. The idea doesn't even exist yet. Well, it exists, but it's truly just an idea. So we're spending, let's say we put $50,000, $70,000 towards development plans so that the city's like on board. You got the utilities on board. Now we have to sell this idea to a developer, a person that has money. So an investor, because the investor, what's funny about commercial real estate, I think that a lot of people don't realize, is that investors only invest in commercial real estate because for them, it's a business, and it's a business of leases. So now they have to do their due diligence or underwriting of the area and think about, okay, so if I go ahead and build this space here, and how big are these spaces going to need to be? What kind of spaces are going to be backfilled into these spaces? How much is that going to cost? How much do I have to charge per square foot to even pencil this whole development out? Because that cash flow all comes back to how much can I lease these spaces out for. So it's a really, really complicated, development is really, really complicated. And really the premise of this conversation, I'm trying to keep it short, I'm trying to condense a lot of information into a very short video. Even 10 minutes would be a short video for this, but is that as a homeowner in Marana, for example, and say, there's a lot of leakage in Marana. Leakage being you have to leave Marana to actually secure the goods and services that you'd want for your household, which is good for Marana because they're also losing on their sales tax dollars. So Marana want to provide more, but they're not the ones that actually are pulling the levers and pushing the buttons to make these things happen. It's going to be people your brokers, your commercial real estate brokers in your community that are listening to the, to the pulse of the community, identifying the idea, identifying the dirt, talking to the owner of the dirt, then talking to the city, putting together your development plans, representing that information to a developer, and they might not even want to move forward until you can pre-lease 70% of these theoretical spaces. So now you have plans, you have a developer ready, ready, willing, and able, but now you have to go sell this idea to, say, 8 to 12 different businesses that are going to pre-lease unexisting space to make sure that there's an incentive for the builder to even build it out. And then what happens is that this whole process can take, you can tell how this can take a year, 2 years, but unfortunately what happens in that time period is that the market is always changing. Not unfortunately, it's beautiful the market is always changing, but because the market's always changing, if this development package takes 2 years to produce to actually go to market, the market might want something else 2 years from now. So now all that is for naught, and you start over again. What do you want? You listen to the community. What does the community want? Maybe now you want like a go-kart racing. I don't know. And then we start the whole process over again. So just wanted to sort of give you a little bit of a background information, just a total water hose of information about development and sort of why there is just dirt next to your house for years and not a retail development. How come you're having to travel outside your community to buy the goods and services that you wish that were provided within your community? I think I'll stop right there. I'm literally out of breath. Ryan Shirley, commercial real estate here in Tucson, Arizona, and AI Horizon. Thank you much. Call if you need anything.